Hi, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Hi,
Hey, hey,
everybody.
hey.
Hello. Welcome to WrestleTalk with David and Pops, episode 5.
That's right, the big number 5. We made it to 5.
I know it's crazy. Matt Ward, welcome in. Gabe, welcome in. Fan of the Man Wrestling Pops, welcome in. How is everyone doing today?
Today I'm doing pretty well. All right. Pretty decent. How about everybody out there in the internet world?
Just sending out the stream a couple more times.
Oh, that's good. Now we can have people. Get ready to get into this and discuss it. Wrestling. Get ready for that big card tonight.
Good night, Kobu.
Good night, sweetheart. Where it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Where it's time to go. Kobo, you had some great dreams. Think of us. And maybe David will do a shuffle for you. You didn't know that whole thing there.
Now that that's over.
Uh, well, it's my good night to Cobra. That all started. There was a show back in the 70s and 80s. It was called Shot on Eye, and they used to end every show. They were a singing band. They were pretty popular. This and that. They sung a lot of oldies stuff. Variety show. Something we don't have variety shows now. We call them reality shows, but they use real people. But we have variety shows back then when you started. But anyway, they used to just sing that song at the end of the night. There was a guy named Bowser who used to go, "Du, du, 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 good night, sweetheart," and he'd have, Anyways,
Okay.
well, that's what I was thinking. But all those anything to promo in there is going to only be in the Discord. I'm leaving it at that. I'm not putting them out anywhere else. And this and that. You see for them. Like I have exclusive stuff for here for David's right? Tag Entertainment.
What was 13? We're going to go over the breakdown of. To start it off, we're going to go over the breakdown of the March 13th, last week's AEW Dynamite, where we had a debuting Mercedes Moné.
Yeah,
Very excited on that.
that was very exciting. It
In
was
Boston, of having her, the way I'll say it this way, bringing her out like they did for CM Punk in Chicago. I think it beat CM Punk's return.
That's because Massachusetts people are the best. CEO, CEO,
Yeah, that was good. I
CEO.
loved it.
I did. I proud Massachusetts guy here. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when I see John Cena do something really good or something like
I
that.
love Dark Side of the Ring.
When I see her, I just remember. David says I'm too old. I remember her in the local indies around
He's
this
never.
area,
No, he hasn't. He's stupid.
and she did great. She brought up
Never did it.
chaotic wrestling. That's
Live
where
on
she got
Twitch.
started.
They do Twitch shows, Chaotic Wrestling.
Yeah, they do, and they're right here,
In
in Massachusetts.
she said
They were
somewhere.
owned at one time. Yeah, they
What's
were
up,
owned at
Archie?
one.
How you doing? What's up, Rich? Thank you for coming in. Matt, how you doing? All right, quickly go down the card. We had Samoa Joe defeating Wardlow by referee's
Yeah.
decision. What was that? 11-minute and 8-second match. Then we had the Elite, Kazuchika Okada, and the Bucks versus Eddie Kingston and Death Triangle. A 12-minute and 39-second match, which the Elite won. Jay White defeated Darby Allin, which the ending, Darby Allin actually broke his foot 2 minutes into that match. So he wrestled for 10 minutes and 17 seconds on a broken foot. And then did the after showing of smashing his other foot, I'm guessing, in the chair. Ow.
Right.
That's
I'm hoping they didn't smash the bad foot already.
yeah, I hope not. Jericho and Hook defeated the Gates of Agony in 8 minutes and 43 seconds. In my opinion, that is stupid. Stop giving legitimate tag teams losses to just thrown together people. Especially Hook and Jericho, they really don't need a push. Unlike the Gates of Agony don't need a push per se, but I would rather see them go over than just two thrown together guys, because Bishop Khan and Toleon are two very good wrestlers.
Yes, please, someone follow us. One more follow.
And then Willow Nightingale defeated Riho in 9 minutes and 19 seconds. I thought that last match was great. Willow and Riho went
Willow and Rio.
crazy. Mercedes Moné with the save at the end while she was getting attacked by the Julia Hart and what's her name? Sky Blue.
Sky Blue. Yeah, Tony's finally understanding, I think, that the ladies, I don't care what show it's on, the ladies are doing very well. Ladies movement started years back. Finally, it's chugging along.
Is that this week?
And not just like I said a couple weeks ago, they're not just divas, and they look good. They can wrestle also.
Then Fallout Shelter, we got our goal is met. 200 followers. Thank you. Thank you, Fallout Shelter, for being our 200th follower. Pops is going to do a truffle shuffle.
I am right now?
Right now. Do it.
All right, truffle shuffle, here it comes. Whoa! Whoa, the pants are falling down. Woo-hoo! We're going to do the truffle shuffle. Truffle shuffle. I don't have the music, but there you go, baby. Woo! A live truffle shuffle. And I almost lost my fucking pants. And that would have been an X-rated truffle shuffle that we couldn't show. I mean,
oh my god. I can't find the breakdown from SmackDown. I don't care about fucking ratings. I want the breakdown.
Well, they got a good rating, and that's what everybody's talking about, because they're talking to AEW. They pulled 1 million something, and it's
I don't care.
Right, ratings no longer matters, because
the beginning,
and we'll get a lot into that with the ratings and stuff like later.
We're not getting in any fucking ratings. I don't care about ratings. I think they're stupid.
Back in my day, who the fuck cared about ratings? We didn't have any Nelson fucking ratings back in the day.
We had a Rock segment to start off Raw, or SmackDown rather, sorry. Of course, it's got to be like 30 minutes long. He brings up Cody Rhodes' mom and how Cody Rhodes sucks. How Dusty should have worn a condom. And all this stuff. I love The Rock. I don't it's like cool that he's back and everything, but
I heard nothing, and then I heard condom.
Pops is frozen, of course. Are you good now?
Yeah, I'm good. Heard something about condoms.
I said Dusty should have worn a condom, as The Rock said, and he said a bunch of shit, talked a bunch of shit, brought up uh, his Moana.
Oh,
What can I say except you're welcome? I personally think he's going to turn on Roman. Just
you know, so
there's things like, I know it's looking a lot into it, but when he's holding up the L and he pointed towards Roman when he said, "You're gonna lose that championship." It could just be subtle little things, or it could mean absolutely fucking nothing. Either way,
I think it's I think it's gonna turn, but like a lot of people are talking, you have to have a good guy, and you got to have a bad guy, and Rock is trying to be the bad guy while people love him, and Cody's trying to be the good guy while people love him. You know what I mean? So I can see what The Rock's doing. I just think he's going too personal, and
just going a
he's
little too far.
disrespecting. Right, he's disrespecting people who don't need to be disrespected. Now, I
Yes.
I know we're not talking about Monday night and Cody,
We will get to. All
but
right, let's get through the Friday night, because after that it's just simple things.
uh,
Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde defeated the Legado del Fantasma. They'll be in the six-pack challenge for WrestleMania, which is basically tag team turmoil.
yeah,
LA Knight was interviewed by Kayla Braxton in the back. He set up uh, LA Knight versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Jimmy Uso replied to Jey Uso saying yes, they will have a match at WrestleMania. Randy Orton defeated Grayson Waller via pinfall. One clean with an RKO. Logan Paul was on commentary after the match. Nick Aldis came out and said he'll be facing Kevin Owens and Randy Orton at WrestleMania for the United States Championship. Santos Escobar defeated Dragon Lee via pinfall. Legado del Fantasma attacked Dragon Lee. Carlito made the save, and then Rey Mysterio made the save, and then challenged Santos Escobar to a match at WrestleMania. New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate defeated Pretty Deadly with a double burning hammer. They're also in a six-pack challenge for the titles. Bayley defeated Dakota Kai by disqualification.
got to
Because
redeem a question, David.
I know, I was getting to
Okay.
that.
Right.
I like the old LWO.
Oh yeah, me. I like the old LWO also. The new one.
It's all
I'm
right.
not too into it. But are we talking the old LWO? We're talking the Latino World Order. We had Conan and all those guys. How can you even compare that LWO to this LWO?
I agree.
And Eddie, they had Eddie.
Yeah, everyone loves Eddie Guerrero.
Masita.
Now,
They used
getting
to
on
love.
to the rundown of Monday Night Raw.
All right.
Jey Uso comes out, hypes up the crowd. It has a segment with Jimmy.
Yeet! Yeet! Yeet!
Has a segment with Jimmy basically saying that, you know, you're my brother, I love you, this is where, and then Jimmy, of course, turns around and says, I made you, I have always looked out for you, I've always helped you. And then at one point, he ends it off with, your biggest moment of your career is because of me. It's because of me. Jimmy Uso. Jey Uso says, no, my biggest moment of my career is going to be my dream match at WrestleMania 40, me versus you, when I knock the yeet out your ass.
Yeet!
And Jimmy
That was
super kicks Jay. Bloodline gigs up on Jay. Cody Rhodes comes out, hits Solo Sikoa with a Cody Cutter. Then it ends the segment.
So here's the deal. Let me just really quickly on what that was. That was me being Pat McAfee, but I can't get up and I'm not going to step on things and try to do the dance and stuff because I would fucking blow a knee out and I'd be on the floor.
Like Pat McAfee almost did during that segment. He even said
during
that
segment,
he almost tore his ACL.
I'm blowing a knee if I actually get up and do this. So that's my yeet. Yeet. Isn't that what you guys do? I don't know. Remember, I'm old. And it was also my mating call. Yes, it was. That's how I get the ladies when I'm out at indie events.
Okay, first matchup, we had DIY versus the Creed Brothers. The Creed Brothers are always a hell of a match. They always put on a major, a showing, I should say. Let's see, Gargano dumps Brutus out of the ring. Gargano super kicks Julius. Ciampa rolls up into the cover. They pick up the victory. DIY enters a six-pack challenge. Second match, Katana Chance and Caden Carter versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Candice LeRae is more of a asshole. She slide kicked Carter and then wrapped the leg of Chance around the steel ring post. LeRae makes Chance tap out in a deep single leg crab. I'm going to save that talking segment till the end. We had a Nia Jax promo. Nia Jax is great. I guess. Cody Rhodes runs into Jey Uso in the back. Says he's got his back. Third match, Ricochet versus Dominic Mysterio with JD McDonough. Ricochet wins via pinfall. That's sick. Arch. And then Gunther and Sami Zayn had a contract signing. I was hoping for a Chad Gable interruption, but there was not one. Let's see. Fourth match, the Awesome Truth versus Indus Sher. Awesome Truth won. Then we had a CM Punk promo. Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins segment. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I did not watch pretty much half of this. Did you watch the Seth Rollins Drew McIntyre segment?
Who, me?
No, the guy behind you who's on the show.
I'm not sure if he did. And are we talking Raw?
Raw.
What show are we talking about?
Raw.
Okay, Drew McIntyre.
Remember Seth Rollins blew past Drew McIntyre as Drew McIntyre was making his.
Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't see that part. I don't think.
Okay, I appreciate that, Rich. Thank you. That will be coming up very soon. The New Day went up against. Oh yeah, that was. I did.
Oh, okay, I did see that.
Yeah, I did watch this segment because I remember just laughing because he's like, I admit, I'm a spotlight hog. or a spotlight junkie and all this stuff. And, like, he's making fun of it. It's going to be a sad day when Seth Rollins loses that title at WrestleMania, but it can't go to a better man other than Drew McIntyre.
Right, and I think I mean, I've had my problems with Drew in the past, as you know. Plane ride, he became like a skinny guy. Anyways, all on a plane ride. But no, I mean, I've gotten over that. I've gotten over that. Drew is a pretty decent guy. I think he deserves something. Um, but Seth ain't gonna be out of the picture for long or anything like that. I don't think. He'll be back at it.
So, the New Day versus the Alpha Academy of Otis and Akira Tozawa. The New Day won, advancing into the six-pack challenge. Uh,
Wasn't that already predetermined? I mean, you know what I mean?
it is, but it isn't, because, it could. You never know.
They were not going to give it to Otis in Okasawa.
Tozawa, not Okasawa.
Whatever.
And then in our main event, we've seen Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax in the last woman standing match. Fucking hell of a match. I thought it was great. The manhandle slam to the table to the floor. Nia Jax got up at a count of 9. Fucking Becky climbs to the top of the ladder, gives her a big leg drop through the announce table, gets up for the count of 10. Nia Jax loses. Rhea comes out, and they have a big standoff as the show goes off air. They're building Becky to be a fucking workhorse already with these big wins over people. I think it's going to change.
Just like I said about AEW, and they're doing it in the WWE also. And I'm gonna let me say something, and I know this is going to be very controversial, but Nia Jax actually showed me something in that match.
That she can't work a table.
That she can actually, yeah, but we're always picking on her. Yes, maybe Becky carried the match as much as she could, and this and that. But that's showing you Becky's a great person, and this and that. I don't believe. I'm going to give you an exclusive WrestleMania pick right now. I don't think she'll beat Rhea Ripley.
I don't know.
Even though that's the way it looks. Like she's going to, she's stepping over every obstacle that she can. But I don't believe, you know, she's going to be able to do it.
All right. So, now, to get into the segment that we skipped, because I knew Pops was going to want to talk about it more. Cody Rhodes had a response to what The Rock said and went balls to the wall. He pulled out a bunch of cussing. He said that Rock was a little bitch. Rock has a small penis. All this stuff. People are saying this is the end of the Cody, or not Cody. I was typing in Cody. They're saying this is the end of the PG era because a lot of these segments are coming out to be a lot more swearing, and people are asking what they should call this era. I don't know.
Let's call it The Rock is back. Yes, I did want to talk about this because of the fact of the matter is, um, Rock was allowed to do it, and Rock got a lot of shit for what he did in the song and all that other stuff. He was getting a lot of stuff from some WWE officials. So Cody went and asked if, hey, I'm going to maybe use some bad language or whatever. And they said, yeah, go shoot, go right ahead, do it, or do it up. I feel, I feel that you know the amount of disrespect that The Rock is giving Cody, non wrestling people, okay, his mother, and stuff like that. He's picking on his sisters and stuff like that. He's trying to pick on a family. There isn't only one royal family, okay? Because
Every time
yeah,
Cody comes out, it does say wrestling has more than one royal family.
and stuff like that. Right, exactly. So what I'm saying is the Rock. The Rock is doing his job. And like I said earlier, you got the good, you got the evil, and this and that. So for that, I feel that there's too much disrespect going on to non wrestling people. You don't bring up somebody's mother. I mean, that's a number one. I mean, you could put me down. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. But then when you start putting down my son, my mother, my wife, this thing, you start putting all these other people down. That's just totally disrespectful. And I always thought that in the wrestling business, and once you started doing that, you know, it was disrespectful. Back in the kayfabe days and this and that, you never did that shit. You know, you never did that stuff.
Yeah, never at all.
Um, because you had a code of ethics and stuff like that. You don't put down, especially put down somebody's mother. And I
No.
loved how Cody responded to it. You know what I'm saying? I love how Cody
He
responded to that.
brought up Rock's
I
mom
guess
and
you
said,
don't really know
she's a
her.
great lady.
Yeah, right.
And then brought up his mom and said, you don't know her, she'll fucking kick your ass.
And she's gonna. I could see her having a spot at
I would love to
sometime
see it.
soon.
Also
And
during, yeah, fucking, hold on. Also during, so, yeah, he did. So, see, Matt brings up a great point. Rick Rude did wear Jake Roberts' wife on his tights.
that was Rick Rude. That's what I'm saying. They back in the day. I mean, don't say Randy Macho Man Savage and Elizabeth. They basically brought fucking to real life on your screen, and I mean, you said whatever that word is, whatever you to put her down, and you just told her get in the corner and this and that, la la, and stuff like that. But
So,
that's all right. WWE stuff and this and that. To me, to me, I don't. I never had respect for anybody that's put somebody's family down.
so during the backstage after after the Cody Rhodes segment, he said, well, Paul Heyman came out and asked Cody to be alone during this during Friday. I'm trying to get this picture of the dog. So he Cody Rhodes said he would show up alone, and then he's seen a bunch of people in the back who said, "No, don't do it. You know how they are. Please stop this. Don't come out alone." Seth Rollins comes up and says, "Hey, you got this, but I don't want to see you go out there alone." And he says, Cody Rhodes starts walking away and he goes, "Tell Pharaoh I like the bandana." So see what the bandana says?
Like as a cat.
Rock is a cat, meaning Rock is a pussy. And it's funny because he's even got the dog in it. There was a video on Twitter of Dustin Rhodes showing the Nightmare Factory tag team titles, and he goes, "Zoom in real quick. Rock, fuck you." And he's now they're bringing fucking Dustin into it, and then I don't know.
Understand, but those are wrestling people.
I know. Yes, I didn't fucking say anything. I don't care about the families.
No, I'm
I'm
just saying.
saying. I know you don't like the fact that he brought up. I don't like the fact that he brought up his mother either. I think it's stupid. I think The Rock should
and that's
stay with
because of the
people who are
fact of the
in
matter is,
wrestling.
right there is the fucking greatest man to ever fucking live. He's right up there next to Bruno Sammartino. Okay, so yes, I have a personal thing, and right there would be his gold belt that he put around his waist That's something that The Rock never put around his waist. So he better remember that. Anyway, I love The Rock. Don't get me wrong. I love The Rock, and I hope when he turns, I'm going to be saying nice things about him and everything like that. Because that's what I wanted. I wanted The Rock to come in and go, yeah.
I'm going to quickly run down the results of NXT. Then we'll talk about Roxanne Perez versus Tatum Paxley. Roxanne Perez won via submission. The Obafemi, Josh Briggs, and Dijak segment, the only part I liked about that was he said, "Did you really just call me Shaft? Do you see that I'm white?" It's kind of funny.
You know what? It had
Axiom,
Dijak in it.
one of my favorite matches, Axiom versus the No Catch Republic, or No Catch, the No Quarter Catch, whatever the fuck they're called, crew.
That was a good
Axiom,
match.
the spot where I think it was the finish, the spot with the Spanish Fly and then the Phoenix Splash, I thought that was great. Axiom, Nathan Frazier worked great together. I love Solruka. She does some of the coolest fucking moves I've ever seen. Like that front flip into cutter thing. I think that is amazing. But Blair Davenport attacked Ruka after the match. They had a Gigi Dolan and what's her name? Ariana Grace segment. Yes.
That's right.
Yes,
Rain
John.
LDS Johnson.
We got Ilya Dragunov versus Ilya Dragunov defending his championship at Stand and Deliver against Tony D'Angelo. They had a whole segment. Drew Gulak versus Riley Osborne. Heritage Cup. I still don't understand that fucking that Heritage Cup thing. Drew Gulak won 2-1 via pinfall. The Good Brothers. What?
I said that I don't either. I mean, that whole what?
Yes, it will, Gabe. The Good Brothers versus Hank Walker and Tank Ledger. The Good
Those
Brothers
guys
win.
impressed me. The Hank and Tank, they impressed me. I watched that and I watched it closely because I like the Good Brothers.
Yeah, I love the Good Brothers. And then the main event was Trick Williams versus Noam Dar with Metaphor. Trick Williams won via pinfall. After Carmelo Hayes music hits with a bunch of security around the ring. One of the security guards is Carmelo Hayes. He attacks Trick Williams. This rivalry and this match is going to feed families for months after this. Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes are fucking amazing people. Two amazing wrestlers.
Yeah.
Where's my... Now, to talk about, we're going to go over the actual card that is to happen tonight. We'll see the Best Friends versus the Don Callis family.
Nice.
See, that's what I thought it was, but they need to explain it better on TV. And then we got Willow Nightingale and Chris Statland. No, that's Rampage. Oh, yeah. So tonight, it's after Dynamite. Immediately after Dynamite is Rampage. So on Rampage, we will see Best Friends versus Don Callis family. I think that's a wild card match. Yeah, it's a wild card match. And then we'll also see Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander versus Sky Blue and Julia Hart. On Rampage, we'll hear from Mercedes Moné tonight. Then we got Lionheart Chris Jericho versus Hook. That's a sleeper. As in, I'm going to be sleeping during that match. Tony Storm and Mariah May versus Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa. That's going to be a great match. The one I'm looking forward to the most, honestly, are these two matches. Eddie Kingston is defending his Continental Classic Championship versus Kazuchika Okada. And Christian Cage is defending his TNT Championship in an I Quit match versus Adam Copeland.
Going to be good. Especially, I believe that's going to be the main event. I think it should be.
John says, why does Eddie Kingston look like a bloated Austin Aries? Fucking no. Because he does. He really does. It's
it's pretty good. It's pretty accurate description of Eddie Kingston, but Eddie Kingston is fucking.
Yes, pretty accurate.
Yep.
But fucking, it's going to be a hell of a show tonight. Sold out crowd in Toronto. Plus, there's a Rampage tonight. I'm probably not going to be able to watch it. I'm probably going to pass out. But yeah, Mick Foley gave, I should say, Adam Copeland Spiky, a big spiked bat. Yes.
Well, yeah, I was just about ready to bring that up, and then I stopped myself. See, Rich is a bad influence, David.
Guess what time it is? Guess what time it is, everyone?
Who's ready for story time with
Wrestling Pops, baby?
David says, hold up, he'll fix it. Okay, you can hear me. All right, so now I'm echoing. All right. All right. Okay. So you didn't hear any of that. So what I did was once I heard you couldn't hear me, I just started making shit up in my head. But anyways, I started off by saying I want to thank Rich, survivalist here in the chat, for making this beautiful background in this and that. I very much appreciated it, and I very much appreciate it. And everybody give Rich a shout out and say thank you. Thank you for it. And today, what I wanted to just talk and discuss was wrestling before the internet. That's right, wrestling fan before the internet. Okay, I know a lot of you are sitting there saying, "What? There was a time when we didn't have internet?" Yes, there was a time we didn't have internet. And what we had to do was we had to read. We had to read magazines. I know, kids. I know you don't understand what a magazine is and stuff like that, but you used to have to go to a store and purchase it and bring it home and read it and stuff to get all your information. We didn't have wrestling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I didn't go to sleep at night on a, say Tuesday night and be able to wake up Wednesday morning and hear everything that happened on NXT and this and that. Well, I'd have to wait. Well, we didn't have NXT back then. So, so here, the story is, um, you know, what I call old school and stuff like that. I really feel that we had harder time back in the day, but also I miss it so much now because of the fact of the matter is, there's a what there's a sorry was reading chat and I shouldn't read chat. Oh. Anyways, I miss it. I miss it so much because of the fact of the matter is here would be let's give you a wrestling pops weekend school age edition. Okay, I'd get up on a Friday, I'd get my stuff ready, and we did have backpacks. We did have backpacks back then. So I'd get my stuff. I make sure if it was, it was a week where I had gotten a new Pro Wrestling Illustrated or Wrestler magazine or whatever it was. I made sure I had that. Okay, and then I had a videotape that I would have to bring back uh, from the DVDs, the Blockbuster or whatever. You know, we had those too back in the day. You couldn't just click on a computer and you had to rent VCR tapes and stuff like that. And I make sure those things were in there and I'd go to school. And then last period was always a study on Fridays. So I'd get together with my wrestling nerd friends and we would discuss whatever, what happened the last week. Okay. We discuss everything that happened the last week, and we all exchange it. We look through the magazines, like, hey, did you get the new wrestler tonight? Yeah. Oh, and everybody we flip through it. We got 45 minutes. And we sit there and fucking bullshit and talk. And then by the end of the time, right before the bell would get the ring, we'd say, hey, what you guys got for videos? And Bobby or Timmy or whatever. And we had that one nerdy friend that was like New Japan and stuff like that. He always had foreign stuff that you couldn't understand, and you would have to turn around and you know you would watch it, but you wouldn't understand what the fuck was going on. But you knew people, like Dusty was taking on Harley Race for the New Japan title, or some sort of trophy or something. There is a lot of construction going on in the background, but anyways, so then you'd go home and you'd spend Saturday. I told the story before about Saturdays. I would get up, and before cable, we had that one, WWE show that we watched. And yes, we had a VCR, so I would record it. So just in case, somebody went, I went on Monday to give the tape. Somebody would say, "Oh, I didn't see Monday. I didn't see Saturdays. WWE or this and that." But I did watch, WCW or NWA at the time and stuff like that. So you sat there, you watched it, and then once cable got in there, I would be doing a lot of stuff, recording. And then Sunday, of course, I would sit at home, and then Sunday started to have some wrestling on it also. So I'd watch that and record that, and then get ready for Monday morning. And then Monday morning, what would I do? We'd go into school, and around lunchtime, we'd meet up with the wrestle nerds, and then we would exchange stuff. And if we had recorded over the weekend and we picked up stuff, this and that, Hey, I rented this at Blockbuster this weekend. Anybody wants to borrow it for a couple of days? Like certain pay-per-views and stuff like that. No, I have not. I have not told the Saturday Night Grinder story. I was just getting ready. I should have put that in on Saturday night. So now we're going to roll back to Saturday because David has asked for the Grinder story, which yes, Saturday morning I would get up, I would have my bowl of cereal, whatever, this and that. This is getting closer to my teenager years and stuff like that. I would get up, I would have my cereal, I'd watch my cartoons because I'm a fucking nerd and I loved cartoons. I still love cartoons to this day. And if anybody that's been to my channel would know that. Anyways, and you look around me, I love superheroes, comic books, and this and that. So I would go and I would do that. As soon as that was done and over with, when we had cable at this point in time, so I'd run down the street, which was called JT Grinders. JT Grinders was awesome. You could buy, it was like this fucking big, it was like 3 feet long grinder. All right. So I'd go down there, I'd order that up, get ready, get back home because now we got to rush back home because we got wrestling. And like I said, I would have to record wrestling. And then once we got cable, I'd have WCCW, World Class Championship Wrestling. I had watched that, watched the WWE show, and this and that. I eat a little, portion of the grinder, this and that. But you saved one half for later on because it's 6:05 on TBS. You had Saturday night when I had the cable. So you had to have a big old grinder. So it was like an all day thing for me on Saturdays back when I was. But that was it. That was all. I got all my wrestling knowledge and stuff like that from there, from watching the shows and this and that, reading the magazines and all that good stuff. That's right, WCW, Living Ecstasy. And and then one day, like I said, would come along, and and this and that, and we'd exchange things again, uh, and that's how it. And that was it, kid. We didn't have a Monday night show. We didn't have a Tuesday night show. We didn't have a Wednesday night show. We didn't have a Thursday night show. We didn't have a Friday night show, and we didn't have a Saturday night show. I mean, well, we did Saturday night. That's the only show we had. But we couldn't go and look at the internet and say, okay, why I bring this all up is just recently, um, right before the pay-per-view there in AEW, um, I knew everything was going to happen before it happened, and it takes away. Like this last week, we all knew Boston. I mean, every day we're hinting everything, uh, came out, and this and that. We already knew that was going to happen. I'm surprised when having to hit us right off the bat with it. It make us wait around and stuff like that. But that's something that in the old days I wouldn't have known until you know it hit a magazine, if it hit this and that. When somebody debuted it in a territory or whatever back in the day, you didn't know. And see, your friend might have known, and they couldn't wait to tell you on a Friday or a Monday. But you had to wait for a magazine. I couldn't just go click. Oh, look at I see everything that happened. So I do miss those days and the old school wrestling. You know, the old school before the internet. Uh, and we had to read and we had to learn things and this and that. And a lot of those fans are still around today. We're still a lot of us out there and around that still do this kind of stuff. And but now we have a platform. That's the only thing I do like about the internet because now I have a platform where I can talk about it and discuss it with all of you, and that's that makes me very happy. So I don't want to get rid of the internet. I just kind of want to get rid of a lot of these, so-called experts that ruin shit for me. John Massa. that ruined things for me in Nico Extra. I just, you know, if you want to do a story or whatever, that's great. But if you want to, I just don't want to know about it beforehand. So a lot of these times and things nowadays on certain shows, like today, I wasn't on the internet at all because I didn't want to hear any spoilers about tonight. I want to see what's going to happen. Okay, all right, now I know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? I know it's going to be there, and any surprises in this and that. I don't want to hear, you know, in the backstage, John Bob Badoo, the saw touching somebody, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't care. Nico Extra needs to stay out of the bathroom. I don't know. You guys are Nico. I'm a Nico fan and everything, but I feel him and Ross John Staff, they hang out way too much in the bathroom. All right. So, David, there you go. There you have it. That was story time with Pops. That was the old days versus the new days. And it was fun and exciting. And
There we
thank you for
go.
bringing
There we go. I hope you guys liked the Story Time with Pops segment. Hope he wasn't too much for you.
I agree 100%, John. I do love that. I can go back and you can read all those magazines that I was talking about, and you can see them. But now there's just so you don't have to pay $2.99 to go see, Royal Rumble '93 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You could just go on to you go click it. But back in, '93 or whatever, and this and that, when the internet was, we didn't have, well, we had internet in the '90s. You know what I'm saying? When David was a baby, that's why I started my E-Fed world stuff. When David was a young man and this and that, we used to have to write the shit out. That's why I love the internet today and stuff like that, because now I play with the video game and boom, there you go. All I got to do is run my mouth. Well, let me tell you something. That's
Yeah,
a
you
pop.
can just stop talking at any point. Now to bring up, I'm just kidding. To bring up some of the indie stuff that Pops said that we would talk about in his little promo video. This week, this Friday, Blitzkrieg Pro is doing a event called Living Proof. The main event is Ali Catch versus Sammy Diaz versus TJ Crawford for the Bedlam Championship. And one of the Blitzkrieg faithful made this, and they're raffling it off at the show. It says
I'm
our
going to the
friend and
bank before
BP
the show, so I'm going
faithful.
to make sure I have cash. I want to answer the cash.
They pay. That's a painting, and they'll be raffling it off Friday to raise money for her fight against cancer. So, more matches announced for that show are VSK versus CPA.
Look at that, baby.
Sorry, I gotta scroll down here to. That's the main event. TJ Crawford, Ali Catch, and Sammy Diaz for the Bedlam Championship. I'm just gonna go here, make it easier. They announced the Luau, the 6th annual Luau, June 29th at the House of Pierogies.
Have my lay ready.
Miracle Generation is going to be putting on an open challenge for the Tag Team Championships. Shane Douglas is going to be doing a meet and greet there. Kirby Wackerman versus Delightful Dan, the goddamn Candy Man. Two BP faithful favorites. Brittany Brooks versus Gabby Forza. Just let me get through the card first, and then we can talk about it. Shook Brood, the Shook Crew, Bobby Orlando and Bryce Donovan, including Gangrel, versus 35mm Magic and Jake Lang. And then we got Bronson versus Cruel. Fangin' and bangin' time for the Shook Brood. But that is happening this Friday in Springfield, Massachusetts. Tower Square, 6 o'clock doors, 7 p.m. bell time. Pops will be there. I will not
I
be.
will. I will be there. I will miss you, and
I will be
appreciate it.
watching it from home
On IWTV.
on
The best
IWTV
10 bucks.
Live.
That's right. That's the best $10 that you've ever spent. I agree. I will be there live, and also Ricardo, Mr. Mac and Cheese. He's going to be there with me, and I gotta shoot some videos and stuff like that. And David, you watch me on TV. I'll bring a sign. You want me to bring a sign? Hey, David, we miss you. I'll bring that. I was thinking about bringing a sign. Hey, David, we miss you, and see if they'll
So,
throw that.
May 10th, they're doing another show as a comeback to the House of Pierogies, and I will be going to that one with Pops. I'm going to be bringing a sign that says I drove from Ohio to be here with the Blitzkrieg faithful.
I can if I can get a shot at talking to him. I believe
He
we're front
spitted
row.
on me before. I was in the second
Yeah.
row and he spit up and it landed all over my arm. And I didn't wash my arm the rest of the day.
He did. He did. But here's the deal. I was thinking about, if I can get out tomorrow sometime, about getting, a little sign with something,
I almost did.
look for that, because we are front row, I believe, right, David?
I'm guessing. That's what I have heard.
And is the little man coming
No.
with them? All right, well, because he say he's gonna whoop Pop's ass. I was excited. I was like, "Whoa, man, is he coming? He's gonna kick my butt."
I'm trying to see if I have a
You know,
picture of.
who? Little man?
No.
You're asking about a picture. I believe it's tomato juice. I don't remember. I don't remember David licking his arm. I might have video if it did.
I did not lick
I'm
my
not
arm. I was looking for the Ricky picture.
a Ricky picture.
I was looking for the picture of Ricky and Gangrel.
Oh,
I'm
that was
sure
the
I have
great.
it somewhere.
I smoked cigarettes with
I smoked
CPA.
cigarettes at CPA.
And I wasn't supposed to say anything. So I'm hoping when they announce the CPA match, I'm like, oh man, that means I get to go smoke with CPA.
Stupid.
I was excited
I bet you were.
because I want to see if he, I know he remembers. You remember? We had a great conversation.
About smoking.
And then I threw him under the bus when I went back in because David was
Yeah.
talking to the Miracle Generation. And I was like,
He's
hey,
like, I just
you know,
smoked
like,
cigarettes, CPA. CPA was like,
yeah. Chris, I'm not supposed to,
alright, so now we're going to do shout outs. And then it's going to be raid time.
All right. So here we go. I'm going to start the shout outs, as always. I want to start a shout out with Survivalist. Thank you, Survivalist, for making that Wrestle Time with Pops thing. Uh, I loved it. And once I got it, I started thinking of things I could talk about, if we're going to make it a regular segment and this and that. And everybody, you know that there is in the Discord, there's a thing where if there's a certain thing that you want me to talk about or interest you, please throw it on in there, and we'll do that. And I then want to give a shout out to the internet. The internet has brought me so much joy and pleasure, not just in the way you think. And yes, Rich, it used to take hours to
Oh,
see a movie on dial-up. You kids will never know dial-up. And it's when you would watch bad things. That's a whole nother story. Um, but anyways, and I want to give a shout out to each and every one of you that spent your Wednesdays here with me and David doing something that this is. I look forward to this every day until it comes and gets here. And I then that day I look forward to it because it gives me time to spend with my son, talking wrestling and being with you beautiful people. So there's my shout out.
My shout outs are Chester Bennington's birthday is today. Shout out Chester Bennington. Rest in peace to
All
the
right.
legend. I don't want to get her name wrong. Shout out to Tina Gilmore, my mother's best friend. She beat cancer, so
Oh,
she rang the bell and everything today. So it's a heartwarming thing.
All right, that
So yes,
should have said something like that beforehand.
yes. So
Jerk.
those are
I made it almost through without a tear in
those
my
are my
eye.
two shout outs today. Third one will go to I don't know, our 200 followers. Another person just followed, I think. So, because it just popped up again. Shout out to the 200 of you that have. Shout out to GWYNW.
It's Gwen.
Gwen,
Hello, Gwen. How are you? Good to see you.
thank you for following. Thank you
She's
for
a
being our
fellow
200
geek
and.
header.
Is that our 201st one follower? 201 follower. Oh, we're at 200.
Great.
It says 200. So thank you for being our 200 follower. Unfortunately, you did catch us at the end of our stream. We'll be live again Saturday for our EFED. Saturday Night Showdown.
Gwen, throw in the Discord. I believe Gwen. Have you joined the EFED yet or any of that? We sure could use another woman.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you,
But yeah, we hit 200 followers. Thank you to everyone who comes here and watches us. I will be. My next day off, I promise, I will be uploading everything to YouTube and getting it on the streaming platform for podcast. What?
I just want to say I know that we're probably going to talk after, but can you tell you or your mom or somebody to tell her
Yes.
congrats from
Yes.
from me.
Yes, I will. Yeah, talk about that after. Now we're gonna go over to Chuck Redfield, RTPW's own Chuck Redfield. He's also a EFED streamer.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. We're gonna use those hashtags when we go over there. Make sure you tell them we love them. All this stuff. We'll see you again Saturday night for the showdown before next week's 5 streams, I think, 6 streams, whatever it is. We'll see you Saturday. Good night, everyone.
Peace of monkeys. We're out of here.